coverage of the National Agricultural Market (NAM) will be expanded from the current 250 markets to 585 APMCs. Assistance up to a ceiling of 75 lakh rupees will be provided to every NAM market for establishment of cleaning, grading and packaging facility. Market reforms will be undertaken and states would be urged to denotify perishables from the APMC. This will give an opportunity to the farmers to sell their produce and get a better price. The target for agricultural credit in 2017 and 18 has been fixed at a record level of 10 lakh crores. The Fasal Bima Yojana launched by our government is a major step in that direction. The coverage of the scheme will be increased from 30% of the cropped area in 2016-17 to 40% in 2017-18 and 50% in 18-19.
So that was the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley charting out new schemes and policies to help the ailing agriculture sector. The budget 2017 was really important for the sector as the sector was saddled with issues arising out of demonetization and unseasonal rains. But did those schemes work out well for the sector? Let's take a look at the measures that government took in FY18. Firstly, they put in export-import controls directed at boosting the minimum support prices for the agri space. The policies that were put in place to manage buffer stock and extra caution was given by the government to make sure that the minimum support prices were implemented. What they were noticed by the government though, the budget 2017 gave a detailed roadmap on how the government is looking to increase farmer income. Put minimum support price with a margin of 50% over input cost of farming and to improve the rural employment. However, these promises were not fulfilled. The picture is even murkier when we look at the trade data. The FY17 exports fell from FY14 while the imports saw a jump up from the last 4 years. Let's also consider the concerns that are plaguing the agri sector. Low remuneration was one of the key issues faced by the farmers. We saw a lot of agitation and protest over the year with farmers demanding a better MSP. Perennial problems of shrinking farmlands, failure of crops due to unseasonal climate has impacted the farmers as well. Crop failure was also saddled with poor irrigation facilities for the farmers. Quality of seeds has been a deterioration. Droughts and high debts are other problems that the government has not been able to find a solution for. While the poor management of food stocks also added to the burden the farmers have been facing in the past year. To discuss more about these things and what can be in store in the upcoming budget, we have with us the Agri Secchi, Shobhana Pattanayak. We also are joined by Mrugank Paranjape, MD and CEO of MCX. Mr. Pattanayak, hi. I would want to begin with you, sir, first. There is an expectation of a pro-rural, pro-agri, pro-farmer budget this time around. What is your ministry suggesting to the Finance Minister?
Thank you, Manisha. I must say that we are also very hopeful that government, as it has been in the past, will continue to place emphasis for the growth of agriculture, especially to focus more on the market reforms and to ensure that the farmers get a better price for the produce. In other words, we will be mostly concentrating on post-harvest and value addition, and in the days to come more credit to flow to this sector. I am certain that this year agriculture is going to bounce just like what you have seen last year, and we are expecting that the government will support us in our endeavor.
Well, absolutely, sir. What you mentioned about the post-harvesting and the warehousing, the cold chain, is something that really needs to be taken cognizance of, because one is, once the farmers do have the produce in their hands, they really do not know how to store it. And we've, of course, seen farmers' agitation on that part as well.
Yeah, you are already aware that government has already launched the Sampada scheme, in which food processing has got a big fillip. It's close to 6,000 crores of investment is expected to materialize in the future. At the same time, the intermediate space between the primary produce and till it reaches the food processors, the intermediate space has to be occupied by warehousing, cold storages, reefer vans and transportation, logistics. Now, this is the new area in which we are looking and going to concentrate, so that we tie these loose ends so that the produce gets a better price at the end of the day.
So the reports also suggest that while the allocations to the agri from the previous budget haven't fully been reimbursed, the schemes also have not been implemented. There's a lot that has been done on paper. We also heard the finance minister on what he spoke the last budget, but there's very less to show for that on ground, really.
See, in almost all the schemes of the government, the issue of post-harvest is always emphasized. To give you an example, the recently amended guidelines of the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana clearly stipulates that 50% of the fund should be allocated for mostly creating infrastructure which is dedicated for post-harvest and value addition and primary processing. Similarly, we have also changed our guidelines in respect of the other schemes, where we give a great deal of emphasis on this aspect of agriculture. Coupled with skilling of this sector, I am certain in the days to come, this will be our sort of new thrust area, and that will definitely ensure that whatever is produced fetches a better price. And as I already pointed out, we are fully conscious of this fact, and we are moving in this direction. Even in the past, let me tell you that due to the emphasis given to this aspect, we could build up a lot of not only the cold storage as such, but the CA storage, let's say, where you can store apples, and there are lots of reefer vans, lot of warehouses. All the facilities were created out of the money allocated for under the different schemes of agriculture. So we are continuing to get more budgetary outlays, and we hope this year also we will continue to get. And I am certain now that everyone is speaking about agriculture in a very big way. We expect the allocation also to further rise.
Mr. Pattanayak, also food processing, as you have been mentioning almost in all of your answers until now, that ministry has been around for years, and we have seen a lot of emphasis. There also has this thing about value addition when farmers come out with their products as well. But would you say that there is a lot desired? What can you expect this budget when it comes to this sector?
See, the food processing to a significant extent has got the right thrust because of the emphasis present by the government now through the Sampada scheme. But at the same time, this calls for new skills, because ultimately the farmers produce for the industry, and in that respect, it is the bounden duty of the entrepreneurs who put in the food processing plant to also train, educate and build capacity of the set of people who supply the primary produce. So far as Agriculture Ministry is concerned, we are closely working with the Food Processing Ministry, and we are developing clusters which specifically cater to the needs of these new set of entrepreneurs. And you would recall that in the month of November, when this Global Expo was held in Delhi, close to many entrepreneurs from different parts of the globe participated, and they have committed for themselves investment in India. And so we are very hopeful that we will be able to organize the farmers to specifically grow for these new entrepreneurs, because ultimately this will add value to their produce, this will add income to them, and not only these industries which will be set up, these food processing units which will be set up, will cater to the needs domestically, but also it can be a significant source of sort of processed food for even for the countries abroad.
Mr. Pattanayak, also the last year hasn't been such a great one, especially the last few months where we've seen many of the crops continue to trade below the MSP, and that has been the case for the fruits and vegetables as well. What is your sense? Because there are plenty schemes around. You have a price differential, you have a price subsidy scheme, there also is a price supportive scheme, and then MSP, of course. Where would you want to give immediate attention when it comes to various crops?
See, for all I can tell you with certainty that we were never self-sufficient in pulses in the past. India first time could achieve near self-sufficiency in pulses only last year. And when we made a significant production increase of close to 5 million tons, there were skeptics who said that it is a temporary measure and it's not going to repeat. I can tell with certainty that last year production we are going to even match those levels here. And by matching the levels of last year in pulses, I want to say that we have reached self-sufficiency. And in so far as cereal is concerned, we have achieved self-sufficiency. So far as pulses is concerned, we have achieved self-sufficiency. What remains to be done is that of oilseeds only, which our effort has shifted down. So the question is, in the long run, this is going to be very good for the country. Now, in a temporary measure, because we were from absolute shortage to so much of it now that you think it is a crisis, but this is going to even out and put us in a steady course, so that this higher level of production is actually translated, and this will be a temporary phenomenon, this price falling. But I am certain this is going to sort out as new markets emerge, and in the days to come you will see this crisis not existing, because government is very proactive in terms of procurement, procuring this, and so I do not see that this is a crisis by itself.
Sir, apart from procurement, also the government will need to do a lot of things like giving credits, also ensuring that there is a three-tier, checks and surveys put in right from the districts to states to the center when it comes to procuring and disbursing that as well. But on one side, while we are looking at increasing farmers' income, how are you looking at handling inflation? Because for the longest time, every time the MSP has been increased, inflation concerns have been brought in as well.
See, no doubt it is a challenge for the government, but at the same time we are very conscious of the fact that we need to really move out from production-centric mind to that of income-centric for the farmers. And that is why we are telling that we must double farmers' income in real terms. So this is a challenge, but at the same time we do admit that we will not leave any stone unturned to achieve this target. And we are very consciously and speedily moving in this direction. Much has been said in the past, but now there is for you to see action. We have quickly moved ahead in this ladder. It is a long journey, but definitely we are putting all our efforts in this direction.
Well, absolutely, sir. Land, water, agri-inputs, credit facilities, logistics. There's a lot on the wish list when it comes from farmers. But thank you so much for joining us today and telling us your wish list on the agri sector there. With that, it's a time for a short break, but we will continue our discussion with Mrugank, Paranjape and BV Mehta on the other side.